Talk to Me, the 2022 horror movie. In this video we will be diving straight into its deeper themes and symbolism. We're going to uncover some details here which might just change how you see the film. There will be spoilers. Let us begin. The cosmology of Talk to Me is simple. There is the living realm, the universe we're familiar with. On this side, humans are embodied. And then there is the spiritual realm, which is largely invisible. This realm is populated with a combination of demons and the disembodied spirits of dead human beings. The two realms are separated by a threshold, a barrier. And for the most part, it's quite hard for them to interact. But in this film, there are gateways, there are ways to puncture the barrier, allowing the two realms to come into contact. And the main one we encounter is this embalmed hand.
So where'd you get it from anyway?
I'll tell you what it is, right? It's the hand of a psychic. Got cut off and embalmed. Legit.
It's a medium, Joss, not a psychic.
The ceramic is put over it, but if you smash it, there's a hand in there. Apparently it was the hand of someone who could connect with the dead, right? So everyone around him thought, let's just cut his hand off.
Wait, I heard it was the hand of a Satanist. And the other hand's just out there somewhere.
Where'd you buy it?
Oh, no, I didn't buy it. A friend gave it to a friend and yeah.
The exact origins of the hand are ambiguous, but it clearly belonged to someone who was in touch with the spiritual realm. And now teenagers are using it to get high. That's right, the prologue of the film depicts a house party, a classic coming-of-age setup. Teenagers gathering together, drawn to the allure of illicit substances and one another. What are they looking for? They want to experience something new. And part of that is just teenagers being teenagers. I think the film also names something of our current crisis of meaning and connection. In the post-Christian West, we've been living with a flat, despiritualized view of reality for some time. And that's part of what drives our exploration. We're searching for something transcendent, something we can get caught up in. And in the absence of anything better, the characters in the film gravitate towards this strange hand. It certainly offers something new, but ultimately it's disastrous. And the prologue sets all of this up. There's a man at the party called Duckett. We later learn that he was an earlier owner of the hand.
Wait, who's Duckett?
I got the hand off him. I met him twice at some parties and we did the hand shit and I asked if I could borrow it and said I could keep it.
At the party, he appears to be possessed. Other people get their phones and start filming him. That's another blistering critique of our age. So much is mediated through the smartphone. It's all ironic and memeified. And that prevents us from taking seriously some real threats in our midst until it's too late. Duckett stabs his brother and then himself. This is what happens to people who fully succumb to the dark forces summoned by the hand. Here's how the hand functions as a gate to the spiritual realm. In the living realm, the subject clasps the hand. A candle is lit, and the subject says the words, "Talk to me." And this forges a connection between the subject and one particular spirit. The subject will now see that spirit sitting in front of them, clasping their hand. But the spirit is only visible to the subject, not to the other people in the room. If the subject then says, "I let you in," that spirit will enter their body. It will possess them, effectively. And the owners of the hand don't want to let that happen for any more than 90 seconds at a time.
All right, somebody time it. As soon as she lets it in, it cannot go for more than 90 seconds. Am I clear?
What happens after 90 seconds?
They'll want to stay.
So each time before the 90 seconds are up, they intend to prise the hand away from the subject and blow out the candle, thereby severing the connection, freeing the subject from the spirit, preventing the spirit from gaining too much of a foothold in the subject's body. That's the intention. And there's another safeguard in place. The subject is tied to the chair during the experience so that the spirit can't run away in their body or get too physical. So these teenagers are offering a means to momentarily placate the spirits. They think they have the spiritual realm on the end of a leash. They can let it out of the box for a brief moment and then put it back in. They think they can play with it, control it, tame it. And we know from the outset that none of this is going to go well, because that's what we're shown in the prologue. Now, an obvious reading of the film is to treat it as a metaphor for substance abuse. The hand functions as a kind of drug, and after using it, people describe this ecstatic feeling. It literally gives them a high.
That was amazing.
You can see the dynamics of peer pressure at play, the question of whether it can be offered to someone who's underage.
50 seconds?
Yeah, just get over it.
Sign the form, baby. Let's go. Okay, hold on.
You alright, kiddo?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this.
And the approval of the cool kids can be won by pushing the boundaries with this hand.
She's fine.
No, she's not fine. She irritates the out of me.
She's literally done nothing to you.
She's so clingy, man.
By placing that 90-second time limit on the hand, its owners, or dealers, are trying to administer what they think is a safe dosage each time. But inevitably things spiral out of control and the characters keep turning back to the hand, thinking it might provide a solution to its own problems. It's an addiction, and ultimately it results in fractured relationships, sickness, and death. Now, this interpretation fits, but I don't think it's an exhaustive interpretation of the film. Because rather than treating the spiritual as nothing more than a metaphor for the physical, I think spiritual and physical go together, such that any addiction in real life, whether it's a drug addiction or a gambling addiction or a sex addiction, whatever it might be, it isn't just a biological or psychological thing. There's a spiritual dimension to it. And so what if this movie isn't just giving an analogy for the more mundane addictions that we actually see in the real world? What if it's actually showing us something of the spiritual battle that undergirds all addiction, even our own? That may not be the intention or worldview of the filmmakers, and I'm not saying that this film is 100% accurate in its understanding of the demonic. It's fiction, of course. But I think in telling this very disturbing, fictional descent into darkness story, it is expressing something scarily true about the real world and the way that the evil desires of our own hearts interact with the supernatural evil forces that are beyond us. And that's what we'll be uncovering in this video. Just quickly before we continue, I'd really appreciate it if you could click the subscribe button below if you haven't done so already. That really helps the channel. Thank you so much. Now, what is the nature of the spirits depicted in this movie? Are they the spirits of deceased human beings? Or are they demons masquerading as deceased humans? Or is it a combination? Well, taking the whole film into account, a coherent picture begins to emerge. First, it's clear that at least some of the spirits in the film are demonic. And we know that from their motive. They want to claim human souls.
And if you die while they're in you, they'll have you forever.
So lame.
Hey, I'm just relaying what I've been told, okay? The guy who gave Duckett the hand said that if you die while they're in you, they'll have you forever.
And this is why the characters in the film who are fully possessed are self-destructive. Duckett, at the start of the film, takes his own life. Why? Why do the demons living inside him make him do that? Well, they have possession of his body, but they want more than that. They want possession of his soul forever. So by killing Duckett, they take his spirit from the living realm into the spiritual realm, their own domain, where they can do what they want to him. The same thing starts to happen to Riley. When he has a go with the hand, a demon impersonates Mia's deceased mother through him.
I miss you so much, me.
Hey, that's 50 seconds.
No, please don't cut it off.
Yeah.
Let's say it's my mum, please.
So the ritual goes wrong, they forget to blow out the candle, the demon or demons stay inside Riley for longer than planned, they get a foothold, and then they start to make Riley hurt himself. They're trying to end his life. Why? They want to claim his soul forever. And even after witnessing this devastating sight, Mia is still convinced that she was talking to her mother, at least at first.
I can't believe I spoke to her.
I think that was your mum, Mia.
No, it was at first. She used to call me Mia all the time. I mean, how would the spirits know that?
I feel like they read what we think, you know. They're in us. They could know everything about us.
Maybe Mum was there because she was trying to reach out.
It really did seem like the spirit of her deceased mother, and Mia is latching onto that hope, but it's a false hope. The entity inside Riley is demonic, whatever voice it chooses to speak with. It wants Riley. And this is foreshadowed earlier in the film when Mia uses the hand. Under the influence of a spirit, she points, apparently to empty space. She says,
There he is.
She's seeing something beyond the room, something that is invisible to the others. A demon. She then looks at Riley and says,
I like you.
The door to the room opens and then slams shut by itself. Then Mia looks toward Riley again and says,
He's behind you now. You'll split, you pretty boy.
The implication is that this particular demon is targeting Riley. It has walked through the door into the room and is now standing behind him. But at this point, it's separated from him. It's in the spiritual realm. It just needs a way into Riley's body. And that is provided when Riley eventually uses the hand. From that point, Riley is possessed. And that's why whenever he comes to, he harms himself. The demon living within him is trying to make him take his life so that it can claim his soul. You see something of this self-destructive tendency in the biblical accounts of demonic possession. Here are two examples. Matthew 17, when they came to the crowd, a man approached Jesus and knelt before him. Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and is suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him. Or Mark 5, when Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain, for he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day, among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with stones. So Riley is in desperate need of exorcism, but that's not even considered as an option by any of the characters in the film. Remember, this is post-Christian Australia. The hospital and Riley's mum assume that there must be some kind of medical or psychiatric treatment that can fix Riley. But Mia and her friends know that his affliction is spiritual, and a spiritual problem requires a spiritual solution. So they consult the brother of Duckett for guidance.
My little brother's in hospital. He went way over.
Will you let a kid do it? His body should kick him out. They get weaker the longer they're in here.
It hasn't.
Give it time.
They're killing him.
He suggests a kind of natural exorcism. The thinking is that if they can keep Riley alive for long enough, the demons will eventually leave him. Now, here's another question. Is it one demon living in Riley, or is it multiple? I've been deliberately vague in my language around this up to this point. My interpretation is that it's multiple, but there's a ringleader, a particular demon leading the charge against Riley, the one who Mia points to when she has the hand. And we see his form briefly towards the end of the movie.
You can't take him. He's ours.
And I think the vast majority of the other spirits we meet in this movie are demonic as well. There's evidence to suggest that at least some might be the actual spirits of deceased humans, and we'll get to that. But notice how there is this coordinated attack on Riley. At one point, Mia uses the hand to try and find Riley's whereabouts. She encounters a spirit who shows up as a little girl, offering to take Mia to Riley. And it shows her a vision of Riley being tormented by spirits. It's horrific stuff. And holding Riley's head is that ringleader demon. Now, the claim being put forward to Mia is that this torment is what Riley is currently experiencing, and Mia needs to set him free from it. But is that really the case? Yes, he's possessed and he's experiencing a degree of torment already, but my interpretation is that that snapshot of profound torment that Mia is shown, you know, that horrific imagery of all the demons torturing Riley, my interpretation is that is a vision of what Riley will experience if the demons succeed in killing him and claiming his soul to the spiritual realm. In other words, it's a picture of what the demons want to do to Riley. And they're showing that vision to Mia in order to manipulate her. Riley is weakened from a health point of view. And that's actually bad news for the demons as well, because it's proving difficult to get Riley to take his own life. He doesn't have enough strength to do the physical deed of taking his own life, and he's often restrained. So the demons are now looking for another way to take Riley's life, and they turn to Mia. They have a foothold on her already, and they're trying to manipulate her into committing the deed of killing Riley. And they do that by appearing to her as her deceased mother and telling her that the only way to set Riley free from that torment is to kill him.
Mia?
Riley needs help.
Riley can't stay there. He's suffering me. What do I do? He needs to die.
What?
You have to put him out of his misery.
Mom, I can't.
They're never gonna let him go. Look after him, me.
So it is a cruel trick. They want Riley dead so that they can torment him forever. But in order to get that, they're trying to convince Mia that he is already experiencing that ultimate torment. And the only way to end that for him is for Mia to kill him, to put him out of his misery. The demons have a strong influence on Mia for much of the movie. Not as strong as their influence on Riley. She's not fully possessed in the same way. But she starts to see the demons, even when she's not using the hand. They influence her dreams. They trick her into sucking Daniel's foot. Weird. Adding strain to the friendship group. They trick her into stabbing her own dad.
Have any of you guys still been seeing stuff?
Wait, didn't Ducky say they could imitate people?
Wait, who stuck it?
Got the hand off him. Yeah, I met him twice at some parties, and we did the hand shit, and I asked if I could borrow it, and said I could keep it. He said he was seeing them without it.
And then he went full skids, stabbed his brother, and killed himself.
Why do they have so much power over her? Well, her first experience with the hand doesn't go to plan. She grasps it for longer than the 90-second time limit. So that's probably why she's not quite fully possessed, but the demons have more power over her than usual. An interesting detail, when Daniel tries the hand, the spirit that goes into him kind of sticks his tongue out and looks at Mia and smiles. And that's very reminiscent of the ringleader demon that ultimately possesses Riley. But why does he smile at Mia when he's in Daniel's body? I think that's conveying a sense of, yeah, we're using you. You're on our team, though you do not know it. And the demons, they very nearly persuade Mia to kill Riley. She puts him in a wheelchair and takes him to the edge of a busy road, about to let him go into that traffic, killing him. And the demons want to make that as easy for her as possible. Mia sees not Riley, but the demonic ringleader, laughing. And they're making it look like that if she simply pushes the wheelchair into the traffic, she will remove that demon's power from Riley. And a spirit claiming to be Mia's deceased mother shows up behind Mia, whispering a final encouragement.
You're doing the right thing. Show him the way. I can protect him. We'll have him forever.
But notice that final line from the mother. Bit of a Freudian slip. We'll have him forever. Echoing the warning from the start of the movie.
And if you die while they're in you, they'll have you forever.
This isn't the voice of Mia's mother. This is the voice of a demon who wants to claim Riley's soul. And perhaps Mia realizes that. Or perhaps there's some instinct that arises from within her, preventing her from harming Riley. In any case, she dies, and he lives. This pays off a moment from the first act. Mia and Riley were driving home. They encountered a dying kangaroo. Riley urged Mia to put it out of its misery, but Mia found herself unable to run it over.
We can't just leave it like that. Can you at least put it out of its misery?
And towards the end of the film, the demons are trying to persuade Mia to put Riley out of his misery. The demon disguised as her mother uses that exact language.
You have to put him out of his misery.
In the hospital, Mia has a fleeting vision of the bleeding kangaroo, establishing the link to that earlier scene. So that's one interpretation. Mia realizes what's going on and sacrifices herself to save Riley. There's a darker interpretation if you look carefully at the details of this scene. Mia is standing with the wheelchair, and she lets go of it. Her friend Jade, Riley's older sister, she bursts through the fence, clearly on her way towards Mia, and we get this fleeting shot through the windscreen of a passing vehicle. We can see the wheelchair there, Mia standing behind it, and then, is that a bit of blue? Jade's wearing blue. So is Jade now actually restraining Mia? Then there's the collision. So we don't see what happens clearly, but a possible interpretation is that Jade throws her onto the road. It's ambiguous. How lucid is Mia in those final moments? Is she genuinely about to push Riley onto the road? Does she come to her senses and throw herself onto the road? Or does Jade push her onto the road? In any case, Mia is killed, and I guess the demons are weakening inside Riley's body, so he recovers. Now, as I mentioned, you can make the case, and I do, that virtually all the spirits shown in the film are demonic, with some masquerading as dead relatives. And that fits with what we've seen. It's a coordinated demonic attack. I don't think we ever see the actual spirit of Mia's deceased mother. It's a demon pretending to be her mother. And this is evidenced, yes, through its deception, plus the fact that its appearance becomes increasingly mangled throughout the film. We hear underwater noises in the sound mix whenever we're with her, reflecting the waterlogged appearance of the spirit which first possesses Mia. It could well be the same one. It's a shape-shifting demon. So yeah, I think the vast majority of the spirits we see in the film are demonic. However, the end of the film reveals that it is at least possible for the spirits of deceased humans to communicate through the hand in this movie. After falling onto the road, Mia is killed, obviously. Her spirit then crosses into the spiritual realm. She sees Riley recovering. She looks into a mirror and doesn't see her reflection. That echoes a nightmare she used to have.
I have this recurring nightmare. Oh, yeah. I'm looking in the mirror. My reflection is gone. Like I don't exist.
She sees her dad, revealing that he recovered from his stab wound. So she's seeing all these things happening in the living world, but she can't interact with them because she's now a disembodied spirit in the spiritual realm. Then she finds herself in the presence of someone who is using the hand.
I let you in.
And that's the end of the film. The possibility that Mia, as a disembodied spirit, can now possess human beings through the hand. A tragic ending. So if this really is Mia's spirit now in the spiritual realm, will she meet those other demons that were possessing Riley? Will they want revenge? Will they kind of make her work for them or something like that? And that raises the question, all the spirits that were working for that ringleader demon, were they all demons? Were some of them the spirits of deceased humans that have kind of been employed by him, as it were? It's all deliberately quite ambiguous, but I think it's safe to say that these are all impure spirits, that there is something very nasty about this spiritual realm. So it's a bleak movie, but I think its depiction of the demonic is actually very insightful. It presents disastrous consequences for people who meddle with the spiritual realm. It's not good marketing for the embalmed hand industry. And for that, I think the film is to be commended. It takes evil seriously. It shows the deceptive nature of the demonic, appealing to our longings to reconnect with deceased loved ones. And ultimately, it shows the destructive nature of the demonic. Mia's death sets Riley free from the curse, but now she herself is condemned to the spiritual realm, a kind of never-ending purgatory, a limbo. And the hand is still at large, waiting to possess other victims. The deliverance from evil is not ultimate. We come away from Talk to Me thinking, this is not the way things are meant to be. I'd like to read a bit more of that second Bible passage because it has some fascinating connections to the end of the movie. So there's this man possessed with many demons. They're causing him to inflict harm on himself. It's a bleak, terrifying reality. demonic evil gaining a foothold on a person. But then Jesus shows up. When the possessed man saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs, allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. It's fascinating. The demons ask to go into the pigs. Jesus gives them permission. He effectively says, "I let you into these pigs." But as soon as the demons get access to the pigs, what do? They charge headlong down the hillside into the lake and drown. Evil ultimately is self-destructive. And the ending of Talk to Me echoes this in some small way. Riley is obviously like the man possessed by many demons, and Mia takes that demonic influence on herself in a way and rushes down the hillside, not into a lake but into a busy road, plunging the demons down into the fate they deserve, and Riley is set free. I used to see Mia as a kind of Christ figure in the story. You know, out of her love for Riley, she sacrifices herself to set him free, a bit like Jesus sacrificing himself on the cross out of his love for us. That's how Jesus gains the victory ultimately over the demonic realm, through his act of self-sacrificial love. But now, especially considering the possibility that it's Jade who has to push Mia onto the road, it's made me rethink this ending. I wonder if Mia is actually more like one of the pigs in that Bible story. Now, I say that not to be derogatory in any way. She's obviously a human being made in the image of God. She has a measurable value and dignity, right? But in the context of the story, she is a tragic figure who has become entangled with the demonic, and she eventually plunges headlong to her death. And while she is involved in the deliverance of Riley, she herself is ultimately overcome by the demonic. His deliverance is her downfall. There are certainly commendable aspects to her character, but she is something of a cautionary tale. She shows what can happen if you invite demonic evil into your life and the lives of loved ones. It's destructive. And it's not just her, there's peer pressure involved, absolutely, but she is at least partly responsible for the harm that comes to Riley. And her desire to reconnect with her deceased mother is incredibly understandable. She's been through so much pain, so much grief. But the God of the Bible warns strongly against trying to communicate with the dead, and I think the film helps to illustrate why. Demons can masquerade as our loved ones. According to the Bible, there is life beyond death, and there is a way to participate in that life. But it is not the way of mediums and spiritists. These people do not know what they're meddling with. True life beyond death is not about kind of connecting with a hazy limbo. No, it's found in Christ, who pioneers a path through death into glorious embodied resurrection life, and we will experience that when he returns, not before. If there is a true Christ figure in the story of Talk to Me, a true source of ultimate goodness, he is largely kept invisible to the audience. But it's a powerful film, a scary film, and one that I was glad to revisit. Lots of food for thought. Well, there we go. My name's Thomas Thorogood. I get into the deeper meaning of movies. Do subscribe if you'd like to stay in the loop. And remember, it's deeper than you think.